I foolishly went on the dark web. I'm no longer the same. It was my final year at college, and I was ever closer to getting my bachelor's degree in business and political science. Despite all my great prospects, I was bored out of my mind. Although I had a decent amount of friends growing up, I began to become more introverted due to my growing boredom from everyone around me. I desperately craved some sort of entertainment. That's where the dark net came in. When it comes to the dark web, I've always been intrigued by it, though not for the cliche reasons like curiosity or shit like that. Watching various creepypasta and allegedly true stories on the dark web were quite useful in informing me of many dangers of the cesspool of the internet. But now it was time to see the true side of humanity for myself. I brought up the subject while hanging out with my friend Jason, since I didn't know how to actually get on the dark web despite having Tor on my laptop. He always has been good with computers, so he was the perfect choice. So Preston, you want to go on the dark web, huh? I know you like amusement and all, but are you sure about this? If I wasn't sure, would I be asking? Can you tell me how to, please? I begged. Okay, fine. Calm your tits. It's your funeral if anything happens. After walking me through the process and setting up my laptop with the proper software, it seemed to be more of a piece of cake getting on than I thought. He told me if I wanted a less advanced method of entering the dark web, I should go on the hidden wiki via Tor, which contains links to various onion sites. When the setup was completed, Jason insisted that I don't go on any hacking pages or illegal sites like black markets for various drugs and guns. I made no guarantees before leaving. When I was in bed with my girlfriend, I went on the hidden wiki, my earbuds in to start off. Ironically, a black market site for illegal firearms was my first click. There were thousands of guns on there that you could never get from the civilian market, unless you were a rich veteran or politician. Giant M60s, Barrett 50 cals, and all types of crazy shotgun shells were available to purchase with Bitcoin. You could practically arm an entire state with these. Now this was the entertainment I needed. But then things started to get weirder, a little bit creepier. I stumbled upon some sort of animal abuse page. And while I'm pretty desensitized to blood and death, this was absolutely brutal. Pictures of decaying animal corpses, all in varied states of mutilation, littered the site. While I was quite disturbed by these grisly photographs, I was kinda numb to it. I can't really explain why, but I just was. 23 more minutes of browsing, and I eventually stumbled upon some sort of chat room. A guy with a black mask on his face came into view, along with a big table showcasing a chainsaw, scalpel, a .44 Magnum, and a large hunting knife with a serrated edge. The camera then began to focus on a pale-skinned young woman in a skin-tight black dress. Tears were coming out of her eyes as she desperately struggled to free herself from the rope. The expression on her duct-taped face says it all. This was real. A chat box then popped up as almost dozens of people flooded the room. They welcomed me as well before the masked guy started to speak. "Which one?" said the man, gesturing to the table. A good portion said chainsaw, while another half chose the handgun or knife. Eventually it became tied between chainsaw and knife. I just couldn't fathom what these sick fucks were typing. The fact that they could just nonchalantly choose how to brutally kill someone with about as much emotional weight as eating Chinese takeout was just pure terror at its finest. A tiebreaker, huh? Well, looks like I'll just have to pick randomly. As he said this, a second man, much taller and muscular than the first man, came into view, also masked. He picked up the knife and .44 as he went towards the woman. Her muffled screams became louder as he picked where to stab her. After a minute, he settled for her right shoulder, plunging the blade in so fast it could have dislocated her arm. She yelled another muffled scream of agonizing pain as the chat exploded with excitement. Another person in the chat then remarked he didn't stab her slow enough. As a result, the man took the serrated top off the blade to the top of her nose. I closed my eyes, unable to watch as I heard the blade sawing through her nose, followed by her screaming. I desperately tried to exit the site, but nothing worked. Pressing escape and Control-Alt had absolutely no effect at all. The The burly man then began to load 2 rounds in the 44. He aimed precisely at her chest as he fired, creating a gaping hole in where her chest used to be. Aiming again, he raised the gun to her forehead. The force of the bullet was so great it knocked her and the chair to the ground. Incredibly horrified, I got up from bed, careful to not wake up my girlfriend as I went up to the garage to get my screwdriver. I unscrewed the bottom of the laptop before removing the battery, finally shutting it down. I had to sit for a moment to collect my thoughts about what I had just witnessed before going back to bed. Chloe was luckily still asleep, though I didn't get any that night. When I woke up, Chloe noticed how uneasy I was. I assured her it was nothing as she continued to persist. I called Jason to tell him about last night after she left for work. He was just as freaked out as I was. I asked him what I could do, because I couldn't possibly call the police due to having been on the other websites. Instead, he advised me to completely destroy the laptop and hard drive, which I did. 3 weeks after this, Chloe gave me a letter that had no name, address, nothing. I asked her where this came from, which she had no idea. Yeah, definitely a pretty stupid question at the time. I opened it, and I was welcomed with a sheet of paper that read, "Come back again sometime," written in what I deeply hope was red ink. I already had a strong feeling of where it came from. It's now been 10 years since that experience, and I'm now 29. To this day, I still have nightmares about that poor woman's death. I still wish I could have saved her, the fear in her eyes forever haunting my soul. For anyone who even considers going on the dark web, please learn from my mistakes and stay the fuck away from that digital hell.